Hello, everyone, and welcome to part one of this week's Finance SEQFC Preview Show. Thanks to Vilic Law. It's our final Southwest Queensland show for the year. Woohoo! It's been great to get the show up and running. The response has been fantastic. Last week it was our #1 show, so thank you everyone out there for your support. I'll probably thank you again at the end. It's the sort of thing I like to do. But let's talk football. Let's get straight to it. So we've got some guests. We've got Gerard from Willowburn. How are you, Gerard?
Good, Darren. Yourself, mate?
Very excited, mate. Very excited. We've got Steve McEvoy from Stanthorpe United. Good evening, Steve.
Yes, good morning. Good evening, Darren. How are you?
Good morning. We're not quite there yet. And we've got Jason Hall. Jason, over here for a sec. Over here.
How are you guys?
Good. Now,
we should one eye on the Logan Rochdale game.
As we are recording, Logan are playing Rochdale. There's about 15 minutes to go. Is that right?
Yeah, down to 10 minutes now.
Yes, and Rochdale are currently winning, which means that Logan need just one more point to win the league. Is that correct?
No, they need 2 points. If they only get 1 point, they'll tie with us, and we've had more wins, so they need 2 points.
All right. So keep your eyes on Jason during the show. His reactions will tell you all. You won't need to know the scores. Jason's face will tell you everything. All right, let's start with the TFL. It's grand final day on Sunday, Gerard?
Correct, yeah.
The traditional day of Sunday. I actually saw a comment a week or two ago from someone saying, why does the TFL always play on Sunday? Is that tradition? Is it a club's choice? Has it not always been that way? What's the story there?
I think it probably lines up with the juniors. They do their juniors on Saturday, the same weekend. Then obviously that only leaves 1 day left. So, I don't think it really matters to a certain extent, but I'd probably prefer a Saturday grand final. But probably the last 5-6 years, it's always been a Sunday. So, yeah.
You might make it the Mad Monday if they played it on a Saturday, Gerard.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I'd make it, but I don't know about the other boys.
All right, so let's start with your preliminary final on the weekend. You took on the Gatton Redbacks.
Yeah.
Tell us about the game.
Yeah, I guess another typical finals football match. Had everything, had drama. We went up early, probably in the first 10 minutes. Our left winger, Nathan Skinner, had a fairly, by his own admission, had a fairly ordinary game against Stanthorpe the week prior and came out all guns blazing and trained the house down last week and opened up our account early. And then, yeah, that's when things probably took a little bit of a unfortunate turn. We lost one of our centre backs for a last man challenge and received a straight red. So obviously that put a real spanner in the works in terms of formation and game plan and everything that I guess that we would sort of had planned to do. But the boys rose to the occasion. And then shortly after that red card, Nathan Skinner slotted another one. So that gave us a 2-0 cushion. And Gatton, to their credit, obviously they knew that they were never going to go away. Such is the nature of any Gatton team that you play. They just keep pushing and pushing each other. And Alex Edwards slotted a nice free kick just outside the 18-yard, probably 10-15 minutes before half-time. So that went to the break at 2-1. And obviously losing the man in our centre-back, Gatton sort of obviously wanted to exploit that. So they just kept overloading the midfield with an extra man and were sort of playing 3 at the back for large portions of the second half. But we just kept digging in for each other. It was just typical finals football. We probably missed 3 or 4 one-on-one chances on the counter, and that's probably the disappointing thing. We didn't put them to bed. I think it sounds a little bit strange, but having a 1-goal lead probably did more for us mentally in terms of just that resilience and tenacity. Sometimes a 2-goal lead you might switch off for a moment and lose your concentration levels, but just having that narrow lead on Gatton, I think probably served us in the long run. Last 5 minutes, Matty Eilers, our keeper, probably made a handful of absolute match savers. Couple have come off the post on the line. He's got a mitt to it. So, you know, it was scramble city there in the last 5 minutes, but got the job done and got our ticket. So that's all that matters.
All right. So we were talking last week about the drop in performance against Stanthorpe United. It sounds like you were expecting things to be on the improve, and that did happen.
Yeah, I think we can overall say that there's improvement there, but we still know that performance probably wasn't good enough to beat Stanthorpe, and that's what we need to be very mindful of coming into this Sunday. I think if we play like we did in that 90 minutes, I don't think we'll come home with the chocolates. So we've still got improvement in us, which is a silver lining. Losing Al McGorm, our centre back, it's a huge blow to us, to be honest. He's been a real mainstay for us, either in the midfield or in the centre back, and just does the job week in, week out. And so that's going to cause a bit of a reshuffle within the squad. But we've got a lot of depth there, and we know whoever slots in there to cover that position will do a job for us come Sunday.
Are there a lot of red cards in the TFL?
There's over 30 across the 5 divisions in the regular fixtures. So, yeah, they're one of our players. I won't mention his name, but he picked up 3 in a season. So he's had a couple of weeks off. So it was his first game back on Sunday. So he hadn't played for about 6 weeks. He pulled up a bit sore playing a full 90 minutes. So, but he'll be right to go for Sunday.
I guess what I'm getting at, are the red cards warranted, or do you think it's a little bit of over officiating when perhaps a little bit more leniency could be
Darren,
best,
you know, all 3 of us have got to play in front of the referees you're asking us to comment on right now. So
yeah,
good luck getting an answer to that question.
That's a stitch up, mate. I'm not going to answer that question. No, we've got the grand final coming this Sunday.
Dear. Steve, you're in the grand final with a new team. It's been a fantastic first year for you guys. You were 3 minutes away from winning a trophy in the last round of the season, but you came back, you won through to the grand final, you sat back last week. Did you watch the game? Did you venture in to take it in, or did you just sit back and relax?
Oh, personally, since the borders were restricted, I was able to get down and visit my son down in New South Wales. But I do know a couple of...
Hold it right there. Jason, give us an update.
2-0, Roachdale just scored. Thunder are alive.
They're right. The Thunder are alive.
Wonderful football, isn't
it? Steve, please.
Yeah, sure.
Continue.
So I personally didn't get to the game. We did have a couple of guys go up and watch the game and on Sunday between Gatton and Willowburn. But look, you're right. I mean, it's been a long haul for the boys. It's been a lot of miles travelled over the last few months. And you know, we had a discussion of training tonight that, you know, no one, especially us, expected to get this far. So especially after 3 rounds and we had 1 win and 2 losses. So it's been a big effort by the guys, and you know, we're happy to be there. We're glad to be there, and we want to finish it off on Sunday.
Are you going into the game with a devil may care attitude?
Oh, look, you know, we lost our goalkeeper. He was sent off in the major semi-final against Willowburn, so that's made some forced changes and major changes. You know, we've got an outfield player now playing in the goals. We've got still a couple of guys carrying injuries and haven't got that depth there. But look, no excuses for the boys. I mean, they're just so primed, they're ready to go. You know, they'll leave anything on the tank on Sunday. You know, they'll be giving it their best shot, and we know we can beat Willowburn, and we know they can beat us. So in the games we played against them this year have been very close and exciting, and you know, good advertisement for regional football up there in Toowoomba. So yeah, it's going to be a very interesting game. I just hope that both teams can put on another performance like they did the last few weeks.
Is there any talk in Stanthorpe about this being a permanent arrangement?
it's like anything, mate. One game at a time. I mean, we just want to get through this season, and I don't think that'll be our decision, to be honest. That might be the people above us. We'll have to work that out and see what they want to do. And if Stanthorpe were looking at doing it again, that's something we'd have to sit down and discuss. It's costly to do what we've done, but it's not about the money. It's about giving these guys an opportunity to play at the next level. And the opportunity was only presented because of COVID-19 and the local competition being cancelled, and created that opportunity for us to get involved. And hats off to the boys, because playing every game away from home, it's a tough task today, and they've done well to stick to their commitment.
But is there general enthusiasm for the idea of having another go at it next year?
I'll be generally honest. I mean, they have talked about it, some of the guys early on, but to be honest, we know that it's not going to be a decision for us to make. But I think that's a discussion for another day. But I think that if they had an opportunity, they probably put their hand up and say, yeah, let's do it again. But I can't speak for all the guys. I can't speak for the committee, and I can't speak for football Toowoomba, football Stanthorpe, all those other ones. So yeah, it'll be interesting.
Sure. You'd think maybe home games would help swing the idea, wouldn't it?
Look, if we were going to do it again, we'd have to do it on a home-away basis. I'd like to see our ladies' team and our Colts team and the men's team all join the and travel up together and all that stuff. And I mean, just the revenue you get from your home games helps you pay for referees' fees, electricity, for training nights, equipment, all that type of stuff. So, we've had none of that this year. It's just been it's been hand in the pocket the whole way. So it's just one of those variables that you've got to come into your decision-making process. But certainly, if there was an offer to join and with 3 teams, we'd have to then look at who's going to be keen to do that. But certainly, home and away would certainly probably push us over the edge to get involved again. Yes.
What are your thoughts, Gerard?
Yeah, I think the addition of Stanthorpe has provided a great dynamic to the competition. A couple of years ago, we had sort of a similar setup with South Burnett, Kingaroy. They had a similar kind of representative team from the region, and they ended up winning the reserve comp 2017, I think it was. And like Steve said, that was a great advertisement for the region, and they played really good football, like Stanthorpe do. And so, unfortunately, they couldn't get the numbers together the following year. So, if Stanthorpe were keen to go again next year, on behalf of Wilburn, we'd welcome it. They've been great for the competition. Steve's alluded to it a number of times. I think you can't question their commitment, the fact that they're on the road. Travelling to Gatton, that's a 3-hour road trip. Like that's a huge effort from a club that's only really just come together this year. So, they're in the grand final, so you can't take that away from them either. So, if they wanted to go again, they'd certainly have our support and they'd certainly have our vote.
Just on the flip side, what happened to the Kingaroy team?
Their coach departed, and a couple of their key players sort of hung up the boots, and so they'd pulled a couple of numbers from some of their local regional clubs there, and it was effectively a South Burnett Kingaroy representative team. But it's a great talent pool out there as well, Kingaroy. Some of our guys that play for Wilburn now and have gone on to Thunder, like Brody Welsh and Rhett Greenslade. Those guys have come from that region. So there's some good footy players out there. There's no doubt about that.
All right. Let's focus on this game Sunday. Gerard, how are you going to win it?
I think we've got to start well. We didn't start well against them 2 weeks earlier. I think if we can start well, and whether that means a goal or not, but I think if we can start well, we're sort of a confidence-based team, and so if we can get settled into the game early, I think last time we played them, it was sort of we didn't play a whole lot of football in that first 10, 20 minutes, and that sort of unsettled us a little bit. We like to get into a rhythm pretty early, and knock it to feet and find those pockets of spaces in and around their middle third and last third. So that'll be a big key for us. But then I think Sunday did us good in terms of that mental edge. We've made a couple of shuffles with our positioning. We've made a couple of changes with Al being out and a couple of injuries as well. So that'll sort of shuffle us around a little bit, but I think that the game will be won and lost. Like I think I said this last time we played them, it'll be won and lost on who takes their chances. I mean, that sounds really cliche and it sounds really obvious. But finals football, I think, is who breaks first or who cracks first. And, you know, if you're bearing down on goal and you're in that 18-yard box and you miss that shot, then you've missed that moment and that could well be your day. So I think it's whoever settles first, settles into their game, finds their rhythm, and then who takes their chances and holds their mental edge for the full 90 minutes and, if need be, 120 minutes. Same
question to you, Steve.
Can I just repeat everything Jared just say, because a lot of what he said is true. I mean, it's the guys who don't get overawed by the whole experience, who settle the quickest and settle early and get into their rhythm of play. I mean, like I said, we've got major structural changes with our goalkeeper and with our reserves coming in to replace him on the field. So yeah, from our viewpoint, it's just about the guys playing with the confidence and knowing they've got the ability there, but more importantly, turning up on the day to do it. But you know, the boys. They're certainly not overconfident, but we know that if we turn up on the day and play at our best, we'll certainly give it a good run. You know, and that's all we've been talking about. Just playing the best of our ability and having a real hot go at it on Sunday.
Which ground is the game being played at?
Stadium.
Yeah, the stadium.
Oh, yeah. Cover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that'll be the first time our players have played there. We've never played football there, so that could be a little bit of a negative for us. Not sure the size of the field. I used to play rugby league on there many years ago, but yeah, as far as the our boys, it's a new venue. Plus the fact there'll be all junior finals on there all day Saturday, plus all games on there Sunday. Don't know what type of effect they'll have on the field. There's talk about a bit of wet weather on the Saturday, so all these factors will come into it. I'm not too sure how the surface will be by the time it gets to 3 o'clock on Sunday after all those games of football have been played beforehand, and especially if there's a bit of wet weather around. So yeah, there's some unknowns for us, but the boys should be ready to go on Sunday.
What's your advice for Steve there, Jason?
I can assure him the surface will be fantastic, Steve. It's the best stadium in the state, bar none. Maybe Suncorp. Leave that one out of it, but the surface is like a billiard table. We had some heavy rain a couple of weeks ago there and played 3 games on it, and you couldn't even tell. So the surface is going to be good. The field's big, one of the bigger fields, so it suits a bit more of expansive play. Which I came and watched the semi-final between Willowburn and the last game, the President's Cup game it was, and I thought both sides are fairly evenly matched. So I don't think that's going to come into it really. I think what Gerard said earlier, whoever takes their chances will win the game, and I think both of you have got players that can do that. So I'm coming along to watch that. In fact, I think our whole Thunder team's coming along to watch the senior men's final. So
yeah, it's looking exciting times.
And there's a women's grand final on as well, Gerard.
Yeah, so a couple of grand finals on that Sunday. 9 a.m. is the Premier Ladies. So I think they're talking, it's going to be a 35-degree day. So that's, like you say, Steve, that's probably another issue that we have to contend with, the heat. But yeah, Premier Ladies are on at 9 a.m. So that's Willowburn v Highfields. Highfields were able to run down Rockville last week. I think Rockville up at 2-1 at half-time, and Highfields managed to run them down 5-2 was the final score. And then that'll be followed by our third division, which is conference, and that'll be Rockville and Chinchilla. And then our reserve or our championship division, that will be with Warwick and USQ. USQ, a bit of a dark horse. They finished third, and they've managed to get over Gatton on the weekend and get themselves into the grand final. And then our ladies championship, they'll play on Saturday evening. I think it's 7 o'clock kickoff, and that will be between Chinchilla and Warwick. So, and then obviously all our juniors from under 12s all the way up to under 16s, 17s on the Saturday. So big weekend of football for the region.
The Willowburn Highfields ladies match, do Willowburn go into that as favourites, don't they?
I believe this is Highfield's first grand final in Premier Ladies. So yeah, you'd probably think that they'd have that experience in finals. I think that's probably been 6 or 7 years that they've made that grand final. So that's a tremendous achievement. So you can't discount that advantage that they will have. And, different stadium, different environment. It can unsettle players, particularly if you haven't played on that pitch regularly and you're not familiar, as Jason alluded to, the size of it. It can start to, put you in two minds. Maybe playing a long ball or playing a wide ball. It can certainly get your lines and your angles and your channels all mixed up. So, yeah, I mean, the Highfields are a quality team. A lot of youth, a lot of running in it, and so and obviously the way that we lost the grand final last year, I think that will be in the back of in the ladies' minds a little bit. It was devastating for them to lose it that way, and so I think that'll be a motivating factor for them as well.
Jason, the Thunder women have a match tomorrow night.
Yeah, they had a game rained out 2 weekends ago against Logan. They drove all the way down there, and 5 minutes before kickoff time, it got called. That was after they drove to the Gold Coast the week before and had that one called 15 minutes before. So Logan, and credit to them, they told our girls that they didn't expect them to drive all the way to Logan, so they'd meet us halfway if we could find a ground. So we contacted Western Pride, and they kindly offered us their ground at Briggs Road. So that match is happening there tomorrow night at 7:30. So should be a good game, actually. I think the first round, Logan ended up winning that game 4-1, but once again, Thunder were up 1-0 at half time, and Logan came over the top. And I think Logan have to win this game. They're just hanging on to fourth spot at the moment, that last final spot. So they need the points. And our girls were pretty, by their own admission, they were pretty poor last weekend against South, so they'll be looking to turn that around.
And who's the final match up against?
Mitchelton or Moreton Bay. I can't remember which one. Sorry, I should have had a look before I started.
That's okay. Geez.
I think it's Moreton Bay.
Okay.
So it's a game they should win. Really, I think Moreton Bay got them in the first round, but they haven't. They've struggled a little bit. So I think it's a game that they can win. Definitely.
Moreton Bay, 0 points for the season. So,
yeah, okay. So we did get them. Yeah.
Expect them to go quite well there.
Yeah.
What's your assessment of their season, Jason?
Oh, look, it's really been a rebuilding season for our women's team. We've spoken about it a few times this year, but they're probably where our men's team was about 3 or 4 years ago. They've got a good crop of young players coming through. They've got a couple of good experienced players there with like Melanie Lloyd and Abby Lloyd and Louise Rolfe, Geordie Frank, Madison Frank. So some good senior players there, but we're just bringing those younger players along. I think in another couple of years they'll be up there challenging for a semi-final spot. So this year was really a building year. They only won. I think they only finished with 2 points last year. They've had their you'll have to tell me what points they're on, but they've had 3 or 4 wins this year and a couple of draws. So they're certainly starting to build, and I think the majority of the teams sticking with it next year. Same as the men's, we got a couple of local players. Ebony Kidd came across from Willowburn. She was one of the stars for Gerard's club last year. I think she played centre back most of the year, but she scored 50-something goals in the season last year. So she was a big plus to our team, and she got better and better as the year went on. Unfortunately, she did an injury just a few weeks ago, so she's missed the last part of the season. But yeah, no, I think they're building into having a fairly competitive team in another year or two.
Just from my casual observances, defensive structure, got to get that right for next year.
Yeah, 100% right. We've definitely got some good attacking players, and we score plenty of goals, but we leak way too many. So and look, we've got for the first time ever, we've got a coach now that's backing up. So David Park Ballet, he's coached mainly in the men's up till now, but this year he took on the women's role, and he's signed up again, re-signed for next year, and that's a big plus. He really did start to give the girls some structure, and that's the thing that he's going to be concentrating on. We obviously brought in Rosnani Azman. She is the Singaporean women's captain. a centre back. So she came in this year, and certainly she had a good year. She was probably had higher expectations of herself, and she's signed on again for next year. So she's really hoping to push and get a spot in the A-League. So if we can just add another good sort of solid centre back in there, I think that'll be the key.
All right. Now we've got full time at Underwood Park.
Full time at Underwood Park. Rochdale have done it 2-0. They got another late goal, so keeps us alive. We're still on top of the table, 1 point in front of Logan now. With just we've obviously got a bye this weekend, and Logan up against Mitchelton, who are ranked third. So they're going to need to beat them. A draw won't be good enough for Logan now, so they have to win that game. So it comes down to this game, and if everything you've been telling me comes true, Darren, we could be in for a cliffhanger.
I actually messaged the Logan coach today and sort of apologised for all the things that I've been saying about their curse, and wished him good luck tonight. And God, I might have put the mockers on him.
Do you mind wishing him good luck again Sunday morning, if you don't mind?
What's the players going to do? Are they going to, anyone considering going down and watching the game? Or will it be?
No, we'll just, our boys are pretty cool. They were all watching the game tonight, obviously, but I think Logan's playing Mitchelton on Sunday, so most of our team's going along to the local grand finals to watch the Willowburn-Stanthorpe game. So we'll just be keeping a bit of an eye on it on our phone, I guess, and hoping for a result. I mean, I think I said last week on the show, I hope we didn't break Mitchelton. We beat Mitchelton 2 weeks ago 5-0, but they had a good win against Sunny Coast at Sunny Coast on the weekend, and they're tough to play up there. They beat us up at the Sunny Coast, and Mitchelton drew with Logan in the first round, so at Logan. So yeah, look, we're still a chance, but it's out of our hands. So we're just concentrating on our semi-final next weekend, the following weekend.
So let's run through that one more time, because it doesn't go on goal difference, and if it did, Logan would be in.
Well, I haven't.
Logan.
Yeah, I haven't checked tonight, but I think there was only a couple of goals difference. So with their loss tonight, we might actually be even on goals now as well. Goal difference.
They've got you by one goal.
Oh, they've got us by one. But anyway,
that's irrelevant.
A moot point, because if they win, they've got the points, and they win. If they draw, they have one more win than them, and that's Football Queensland's rules this year, that it goes on wins, and hence Brisbane City are looking like getting relegated from the NPL as well. Even though they could be even on points, they're going to have less wins. So yeah, it's an interesting rule.
Competition. These little things that get tweaked every season, and they don't get publicised until later on in the year, when it all becomes relevant, or much more relevant in the final wash-up.
In fairness, we knew that was the rule going into our game last weekend against Southside Eagles, who we beat 8-1 earlier in the year, and we didn't push. We probably could have scored more, but we were just concentrating on making sure we didn't slip and win the game, because we knew that we didn't have to get goal difference. But if we knew it was, we might have played a little bit different and tried to score a few more goals in that game. But yeah, we still won 4-0 anyhow. It was a pretty good result.
And Jason, regardless of what happens this weekend, you must be absolutely thrilled to have your team back winning again and getting that winning feeling throughout the club.
Yeah, it's been fantastic. Like, a lot of people were disappointed, and rightly so, when we got relegated from NPL. But as a board, we always thought there might have been a little bit of a silver lining in there. You know, we had a very young group of players. Even this year, when we've added a few more of the older local players, more senior local players, our average age of our team is still only 21, even with those couple of 30-year-olds in there. So we've got a very young team, and we didn't think it'd hurt to go back to FQPL. We thought we'd be competitive in QPL. I mean, our goal at the start, the players all met, and their goal was to get promoted again. So their goal was to finish on top. Which was a bit of a stretch goal. We thought we could make the semis, but look, they really have played well, and you know, success breeds success, and like, the team now thinks they can compete at NPL, and we think we could beat this year. We think we could probably match it with all but those, you know, top 4 teams possibly in the NPL. So yeah, it's been a good outcome. I mean, yeah, look, it's not in our hands now. If we get promoted, we're ready for it. If we don't, well, we'll give it a good run in QPL next year and get promoted the following year.
All right. We wish you the best of luck. Steve, the grand final this weekend. You talked to me in a few weeks back about streaming matches. Will you be doing that this weekend, or will Football Southwest be streaming the grand final?
I'm not too sure what Football Southwest is doing. We streamed the last two games against Willowburn, actually. So, yes, and we actually had one of my former players from last year commentate the game because he knew a lot of players. That really helped, especially when the ball was on the far side of the field because, we only got we can't be everywhere. We haven't got the A-grade equipment, but he done a really, really good job commentating. We had a lot of positive comments about that. Certainly adds to it. And, and we've got so many people who are just they can't make it on Sunday. We got quite a few who are going up for the game, but there's some who can't make it from previous commitments, and they're all inquiring what time the game's going to be on. We'll be streaming it. So, yeah, we will be looking at streaming the game for sure. Where will people be able to find the link for that? Through our Facebook page, Stanthorpe United Facebook page. They can get the link through that. Excellent. All right. Well, we wish you the best of luck, Gerard. We wish Willowburn the best of luck. We hope it's a fantastic weekend. With all the matches that are being played, there's no doubt that there will be plenty of drama. Any entry fee?
No, I believe gate's a free entry. So, yeah, come along.
Fantastic. So it'll be, and the bar will be chock-a-block. So I'm sure you'll get your money back there. Yeah. All right. So it's all to play for. Jason Hall, we're going to see you. I'm going to bring you over to the men's show that we do on Wednesday nights. So we'll be hanging on to you. So if you want to keep following the Thunder, watch one of the other shows that we do that focuses on the NPL, FQPL, and all the Football Brisbane leagues. But for Gerard and Steve, that's it. Thank you for your time this season, and everyone who has volunteered their time and opinions to be on this show. It's been fantastic. It's everyone who's been on has been so generous and spoken really well too. There's, I'm going to be out of a job next year. I'm just going to hand it over to you guys, and you can take it over and you'll smash it for sure. All right, so let's end the show, shall we? Thank you, everyone. We will see. Thanks, Darren. We certainly hope to be back.
Thanks, Darren. Good luck on the weekend, guys.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, good luck.
Bye-bye.